Hey, what's up guys? Sorry I couldn't show you the rest of that video, and I wish that I could, but I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to. It's basically the wedding video, and you know, like, I mean, I wouldn't put the edited video in my vlog, but I didn't want to give everything away from the wedding either because it's supposed to be in a different video. Anyways. Like when you're in a rush, everything kind of goes wrong. It's like you want to grab something and then like it's stuck somewhere, and then like you just get frustrated. I swear, every time I'm in, like, I'm not so much in a rush, but I feel like every time I put myself in that feeling of I'm in a rush, everything just kind of like clusters and collapses. It's like the world's telling you, yo, slow down, it'll be all right. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Weddings are interesting in 2020. I had my first wedding in February of 2020, and I mean, that was obviously before the pandemic, but pandemic weddings are definitely an interesting experience. So I wanted to sit down and kind of talk about some of the experiences or some of the highlights of that wedding. And so if you're planning on filming weddings solo, this is just kind of my experience of what I went through on my first solo wedding of the pandemic. So one of the first things I usually do when I get to the location of the wedding, or at least the first part of it, and that's usually the hotel. 1, connect with the bride, let her know you're there. 2, connect with the photographers to let you know they're there. That way you can coordinate with them on what their strategy is going to be, because you don't want to get in the way of each other. So I think the first thing I need to do is go get some drone shots. Okay, let's get it, let's get it. Usually when I get to the first location of the wedding, and that's usually the hotel, I want to make sure that the bride knows that I'm there and keep it in contact with them, because they don't want to have to worry about too much, especially on their day. And then it being, 1, these people are having a wedding in the middle of the fire, so the sky is really hazy, and 2, they're having a wedding during the pandemic, so everyone's wearing masks. Things are just totally different during this time. So they have a lot of other stuff to worry about. You just want to make sure that you're kind of on the balls of your feet when you get there, showing them that you're there, and then you're taking initiative to kind of take care of everything, because more often than not, the bride and the groom, they don't know what you want, and if anything, they're just looking for direction from you. Okay, part 1 done. So after the first part is done, doing all the detail shots, the getting ready, the first look, if there is one, getting to the church is your next priority. Ahead of time, if you're dealing with 2 cameras or whatever your setup may be, you just want to be there ahead of time so that you can look at the church and see how they're setting up, talk to the priest or the wedding coordinator if there is one, and ask them about how they're walking out, what they're doing. Is there anything specific? Was there anything that they're doing specifically that kind of goes towards their culture in their ceremony, or the way that they're entering is important, because if you don't know where they're coming from, then you don't know where to point your camera, and there's so much setup to it. And so this is my first wedding in the pandemic, so I didn't know exactly where the ceremony was going to take place. I knew it was at a church, but I didn't know what the setup was like. So I don't know if the ceremony is taking place inside the church or outside, so we got to figure this out too. Oh, it's outside. So this is going to be like a drive-in situation where cars are going to be parked and they're watching the ceremony. That's interesting, because I realized there's not enough chairs inside the tent, and so then when people were sitting in their cars in the parking lot, I wondered if that's how they're doing it. And so they're going to be watching what's going on in here from over there. And then only a few people have access to the inside. Watching this ceremony go down the way it did, like this whole drive-in situation, where you have like your main people underneath the tent, kind of close by, like your witnesses, your parents, your bridal party. They're there, and everyone else is stacked behind them in cars. And seeing that, man, it just you just don't believe that we're here in this time. And is it going to get better? You know, it may, but weddings, I don't know that weddings are really going to go back to the way that they were. So during the reception time, the way it worked is obviously there were tables set up very separated apart, and they announced that whatever groups you're in, please just congregate within those groups. Don't branch off or separate and things like that, which, you know, after you're drinking a few, you're not really going to pay attention to that. Again, like, people were staying safe as possible. The first hour, you had like 30 people there, and they were there and they could see the first dance of the bride and groom. After that hour, they were announced to leave so that the next group can come in. They got to witness the cake cutting. As much as like you really want to like be there and celebrate, and usually weddings are so like, you know, chaotic in a beautiful way, not so much like a messy way, but it's just a different time, you know what I mean? Good day. Great people, man. Like, the bride and the groom were freaking awesome, and the photographer was hella chill and hella cool. But it also comes down to your personality as well. Like, are you willing to go and talk to everyone? And again, your job as a videographer, part of your job is to help bring this wedding together. So whatever do you have to do to make the bride and groom feel just a little bit more at ease about what you're doing, what because they don't know. More often than not, this bride and groom have no clue what to do, and they're just taking direction from you. They're trusting you that you're gonna make them look good. So just bring your personality to the table. Be friendly, be kind. It'll help loosen them up, and then they'll be a lot more like, they'll bring their character out more during the photos and the videos because they're so comfortable with you, and that's what you want. You want to build that comfortability with the bride and groom. If you've never met them, this is my first time meeting them, but they were awesome. Beautiful people, man. Beautiful wedding. And this is the first, so yeah. I definitely learned a lot from this wedding, and I'm happy that I was able to experience this and to capture that day for them and still capture something beautiful with the kind of time we're in right now. The whole day, just thinking about the whole day, it being what it's supposed to be, but with the time that we're in. I mean, it's just definitely like, we can get through this. That's all I'm saying. We can get through this. People still want to get married. People still want to celebrate their love. So I think it's important that we stay on top of our game to be able to kind of relay that story back to them, and for them to share that moment with everyone else, and kind of like not look at it as a, oh man, that was like during the pandemic, like who cares, this was a great time. You know, even that, we still make the best of whatever we're going through. We still adapt to all the things that we go through, whether it be hard or easy. We adapt. That's the beauty of the human spirit, is that everything we go through, we adapt to it. So alright guys, I hope you like this video. I hope that you gained some kind of information from it, and if you did, sweet. That's all I want to put out there, is any kind of guidance that I've learned from or any experience. I'd love to put my output out there so that you guys kind of have an idea of what it's like. Now, everyone's experience is going to be totally different, but at least I can put it out there to kind of show at least my experience, and you kind of go off that. Alright guys, I'll see you in the next video. Remember, keep on growing, but always stay rooted. Peace out. Sha. One thing's for sure is I know that when I get home, and it's just, I always feel bad for leaving for so long, but I know that once I get home, oh, hi my pretty girl, hi my pretty girl.